Imagine a town where everyone looks wrong. Their eyes bulge, their skin is grey, and they smell of fish. What ancient secret binds them to the ocean depths? Tonight, we plunge into the chilling tale of Innsmouth, where humanity and something ancient and monstrous have merged. Prepare for the Shadow Over Innsmouth. Welcome, curious explorers of the grotesque, to the great Lovecraftian. I'm Amin, and today we're shining a light, however dim, on one of H.P. Lovecraft's most iconic and deeply unsettling novellas, The Shadow Over Innsmouth. Published in 1936, this story isn't just about a creepy town. It's a masterful blend of body horror, ancient pacts, and the chilling realization that humanity's lineage might be far more monstrous than we could ever conceive. So, let's journey to the cursed fishing town of Innsmouth and uncover its dark, aquatic secrets. Our story begins with the narrator, a student of architecture and genealogy, on a tour of New England. He's heard whispers of Innsmouth, an old, dilapidated seaport town with a terrible reputation. Local folk avoid it, speak of its inhabitants with disgust, and warn against visiting. When he arrives, the atmosphere is suffocating. The town is crumbling, buildings leaning precariously, the air heavy with the stench of dead fish, and something else, something indefinable and nauseating. The few people he sees are disfigured. Narrow heads, flat noses, bulging, unblinking eyes, grey-green skin, and a peculiar shuffling gait. They exhibit what locals call the Innsmouth look, a degenerative physical transformation that grows more pronounced with age. He finds only one seemingly normal resident, a store clerk named Zadok Allen, who, after some coaxing and liquor, agrees to tell him the town's true, horrifying history. Zadok, a very old and increasingly disfigured man, reveals the chilling truth. Generations ago, Innsmouth was a prosperous port, but its fortunes declined. Around the 1830s, a wealthy sea captain named Obed Marsh, frustrated by poor fishing, made a pact with an ancient aquatic race known as the Deep Ones. These fish-frog humanoids, who worship ancient entities like Father Dagon and Mother Hydra, offered Innsmouth prosperity in the form of endless fish and exotic gold trinkets, in exchange for human sacrifices and, more horrifyingly, interbreeding. As the decades passed, the interbreeding became more common. The offspring appeared human at birth, but as they aged, the Innsmouth look became unavoidable, eventually transforming them completely into Deep Ones, who would then leave the land to live eternally in the underwater city of Yhanthle. Zadok describes terrifying rituals, human sacrifices to grotesque entities, and the slow, inevitable transformation that has claimed almost every family in Innsmouth. The town is now essentially a breeding ground, an outpost for the Deep Ones. The narrator, horrified by Zadok's tale, tries to check into a hotel for the night. The town's atmosphere becomes overtly menacing. He overhears strange chants and shuffling sounds outside his room. When he looks out, he sees the monstrous forms of fully transformed Deep Ones lumbering through the streets, their guttural croaking echoing through the night. The town's remaining human-looking residents are in on the secret, guarding the stranger. Realizing he's trapped and marked for sacrifice or transformation, he makes a desperate escape. He flees through the decaying streets, pursued by the horrifying fishy creatures. The chase is a masterclass in suspense, as he dodges through crumbling buildings and narrow alleys, the sounds of his pursuers growing closer. He finally manages to reach the railway tracks outside town, barely escaping with his life as the Deep Ones give up the chase, unable to leave the coastal area for too long. The narrator escapes, bringing his terrifying story to the authorities. The US government, acting on his testimony and long-held suspicions, eventually raids Innsmouth, shelling the town from the sea and sending agents to destroy the Deep One colony. It seems like a victory for humanity. However, the true horror for our narrator has just begun. As he recovers, he begins to experience strange dreams. Dreams of Yhanthle, of the Deep Ones, and of strange oceanic cities. And then he notices changes in himself. His chin begins to recede. His eyes become slightly more prominent. His skin feels strangely clammy. He consults his family genealogy and discovers a shocking, undeniable truth. He is a descendant of Captain Obed Marsh. The Innsmouth look is his heritage. He slowly realizes his own body is undergoing the grotesque transformation. This final revelation is the ultimate Lovecraftian punch. Escaping the physical horror means nothing when the horror is in your very blood, your very lineage. He is destined to become a Deep One, to return to the abyssal city of Yuhanthle, to join the very creatures he once fled. The Shadow of Innsmouth is not over the town, it's over him, and ultimately, over all of us, reminding us that there are ancient, terrible inheritances we might carry, unknown. Lovecraft's The Shadow Over Innsmouth remains a chilling masterpiece, not just for its grotesque creatures, but for its profound body horror and the terrifying concept of an inescapable genetic curse. It's a story that explores xenophobia, inherited guilt, and the unsettling idea that our ancestors' darkest pacts can shape our own horrifying destiny. What do you find most disturbing about the Innsmouth look, or the idea of becoming a Deep One? Let me know in the comments below. If this descent into oceanic terror thrilled you, please give this video a like, subscribe for more deep dives into Lovecraftian horror, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, be careful who you're related to, and try not to look too closely at your reflection.